Witch Doctor will do.
Yeah. Also kind of looking like an aggressive draft, so I like the idea of having the Witch Doctor in. You already got a lot of mobility heroes. Witch Doctor might have a bit of difficulties catching up with the rest of the crew. You don't really want to leave this hero alone. He's an easy target to pick off.
5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
Yeah, this Tiny could make mincemeat out of him in a second. It's very likely that he's going to be wandering behind the group. As for the anti-mage carry matchup, I think Morphling is one of the classics, but we haven't really seen that recently, and I wonder how comfortable Chrysalis feels with that right now. If I think about Chrysalis, I still think about Terrorblade, I still think about Monkey King, Ember Spirit, safe lane, but none of these options are on the table really right now.
Radiance ban.
I speak for the trees.
Nature's Prophet. This can also be Fata or offline.
Could be. I like the Nature's Prophet pickup here at least, because if they want to fight with the aggression, they've got one hero that always has a +1 for fights. Though you might have to build this Nature's Prophet more into a semi-frontliner type of hero. I mean, you've got the Tiny to go in, but you kind of want a friend with you too, because AM's not the guy who's going to be first in the fight. He's going to be last in the fight.
Exactly. So yeah, a bit more jump, bit more team fight for mudgolems. They could also opt for something really sturdy like a Kunkka. The problem is though that the Batrider is still a threat for the mid lane, and you want to keep in mind that that hero might end up going there. Though, like, I'm not sure how much Last Hero has played Void Spirit recently, because I haven't seen it. In my mind, Last Hero is a guy with very sturdy laners usually, so the Batrider is already a little bit out of his comfort zone. I think of Last Hero as like Mars, Centaur type of player. So I'd be surprised if he picks up the Void Spirit, but we'll have to see.
What are we still looking for here? I mean, mudgolems could still go for a 2 or a 3. For bait, it's basically just a carry spot here. I kind of like this Ricky ban here, because that would really make AM's life miserable.
Also kills the Nature's Prophet really easily.
That too. Tiny can't get his combo off too, but Ricky is also very weak against Tiny.
Yeah, Sven ban. I would have really liked this Sven for bait. I was thinking about it. Was kind of hoping that they'd get it, because let's face it, even though I don't think that bait has what it takes to take out mudgolems, I would like to see them give it their best shot, and Sven would have been a nice shot. Even though, you know, the anti-mage is fairly good at fighting you, at least in terms of, you know, countering your stun. If you go mano a mano with the anti-mage and you have your god strength on, he is still very unhappy about that. So
yeah,
it would have been nice to see.
Yeah, like he's a big moving threat you don't want to touch. The unstoppable force. AM is not the immovable object in this case.
Definitely not.
Still one more ban to go though.
What other options? Slark. It would make for a very fragile lineup. I think with these two flexible heroes in the middle of the draft, Bait have set themselves up to not have a real proper frontline, and if their carry can't do that, then yeah. Darkseer ban suggests melee. I guess Slark would be a decent pickup.
Could be, yeah. Slark could be alright in this case. I would have hoped Morph could, yeah. Well, there's the Visage that Bait did let through the draft, so they're in for a hard time. This is a very scary draft from mudgolems.
The 4-man that they have can push towers without diving you, but if that Tiny gets a Blink Dagger out of all of that space and he gets it fast, then yeah, they can also totally dive you.
5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
That is a lot of tempo at the ready.
Are we gonna see cheese last pick? Is there any there? I don't think there's even room for much cheese here. Need that frontliner.
No, not really. I mean, Visage doesn't do well against Monkey King. And I guess I could tell you personally that a while ago when Monkey King's item interactions were changed, Chrysalis was not very favored towards picking it. And yeah, we see the Phantom Lancer here, so he hasn't changed his mind. Even though I think that, killing both Visage birds in one big slam is always nice. Um, we opt for the Phantom Lancer. Also a classic matchup, isn't it? PL versus AM. It's all about who outfarms the other.
Yeah, and I kind of like the PL pick here in a sense because the Tiny seemed like one of the proper counters towards PL, but Tiny was kind of forced to put into a support position when they revealed these last 3 picks from mudgolems, so PL should have an easier time. Not the easiest time, but an easier time than it would have most likely been.
Yep. There's pretty much no proper lockdown for him. The fact is, though, that if you push hard enough on a lineup, you don't necessarily need lockdown because the enemy are going to be, well, you're going to be pushed up against the enemy all the time anyway. They can run back to base and, you can hit them really hard again. That's about it. So Bait are going to have to get a lot of work done with those 2 mobile mid-game cores that they have here, the Bat Rider, the Void Spirit. These 2 need to work together to create space through killing, create threat on the map so that it's actually possible for Crystallis to farm on lanes as opposed to having to stick to the jungle and counter this anti-mage's push, because the anti-mage is still safer pushing lanes than a Phantom Lancer is. So you need more pressure to make up for that.
Well, it is the do or die game pretty much for Bait here. Every win counts, and they need 2. 1 is not going to be enough for them. They want to advance into the playoffs, so that would mean that they have a tie score with Team Empire, and because their previous fight against each other's ended up in a tie, but Bait has the faster win, if I looked it up correctly. That means that Bait will go through and Empire will drop out with the tiebreaker rules that are mentioned.
Bait had a slower win. So that seems rough. Empire beat Bait in 29 minutes, and Bait took 35 minutes to take Empire down in the first game.
Right. True.
So,
1 minute until 30 seconds after battle.
Friendly high five between Fata and Dendi. Always nice to see. These guys have known each other for so long. It's a bit like touring with a band, After a while, you know everyone else on the festival circuit.
Yeah, I mean, touring with a band can be interesting. In a sense, I haven't actually gone on any tours with a band, but I've seen a few documentaries about bands actually going on tour, and they really start to hate the small space that they share.
Have you ever seen hotel room setups where you train on LAN? Oh, God.
Yeah, I've seen some.
It's something. You gotta get real up close and personal with your teammates.
Well, we have the Nature's Prophet up against the Void Spirit here in mid, so that should be a decent matchup here for the Nature's Prophet, who is usually considered one of the stronger laners against many in the game. So if you have like a PA or something that you know that, alright, well, she's gonna snowball her way out of this lane even though how much we harass her, then Nature's Prophet is kind of like, well, one of the heroes that can always be put against almost anything and win the lane. I think that's the same ideology that people had with the Kunkka 3, because Kunkka's so strong in mid that you think that you can just put him in the off lane, put him in the safe lane, and you could win a lane through that, but it's so level dependent.
It is, as well as that he's not the lane dominator he used to be after the nerf on the I forgot the name of the ability.
Not the X mark, the torrent?
No, on the blade.
Ah, the Tidebringer.
The Tidebringer, indeed. Let's call it early in the morning. I was up late last night doing some
you were
ducks.
you were doing some very late casting last night, so yeah, totally. I had my first free day actually yesterday after like 11 days of hosting and casting. I've been doing 3 different games, 3 different tournaments. I was really happy to have that free day off, and I'm like, all right, let's do some Dota today. Let's get some couriers as Fishman.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Putting on the hurt, but yes, Milan dragged this wave all the way to behind the tower, and it's now very awkward for Crystalis and Fishman to contest this.
Yeah, and
At the
also
very least, the tower's gonna take care of the next wave.
love how like they're trying to harass the Visage while they're still busy with their creep wave, and then he just throws in that full soul assumption right in your face, and you're like, oh, okay, we better not mess with you. 5-Up is thinking about rolling in. I think he just dropped a remnant there.
Oh.
All right. Cheeky little kick.
He's been trying to secure range creep blast hits with that. He hasn't been successful, however. This was his second attempt.
More attempts to come, I guess.
Yeah, I'd certainly hope so. And once his man gets some levels, we're going to see him get very active on the map, especially towards this top lane where there's going to be dives for sure.
Last
Milan needs
hero.
to be careful.
Trying to look for the courier and the creep wave at the same time. We'll miss the courier, but we'll get the creep's fodder, however. Very nasty spears going in the way of the Bat Rider. Drops him to half HP, but he will be fine. And a lot of farm for the Bat Rider again. Meanwhile, Crystalis returns the favor. He takes Tiny's courier, so both offlaners' couriers have died now.
2 couriers dead on the top lane, though. It's a little bit of an advantage for Bait.
And Bat goes under the tower, so AM actually fighting him straight under the tower with the creep wave, and then we have Fada just throwing in spears.
A bit of an unglamorous first blood, but hey, whatever gets you on the board, right?
Exactly, exactly.
The
All
real
about the
problem that
money.
yes, that I see in this transition here for Bait is that normally when you run a Void Spirit on mid, you want to have a very clear target to put your first gank towards when you've got Astral Step up. But in this case, Visage isn't a fun target, and neither is the AM. So I think what they should actually hope for is a kill on Bora in mid. So bring in a support, say 5-up, instead of Dendi going to another lane.
Yeah, if they could get on Bora, that would be great. That's what they really want to catch, is the Nature's Prophet. Though they're gonna need 1 or 2 stuns, or at least a lot of slows, because they do want to make sure that he doesn't just teleport out inside the Sprout, because that would be the worst case scenario. You rotate with 3 and he just TPs away.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Milan trying to look for a toss, but Fishman already hiding in the tree line. Milan trying again. Bit of slap going on. Crystalis with the Phantom Rush, dealing a bit of damage on Tiny, but he's still going to be alright in that lane. Only 1 kill as we hit the 5-minute marker. We've got our Bounty Rune spawning. Fishman versus Milan. Duke on the high ground. NP ulti, Avalanche. Ooh. There's not much to say about Witch Doctor after that.
The oof that was felt around the world. But only very briefly.
It's scary how you see that Nature's Prophet ulti land those 2 last jumps on someone, because it takes like 50% of your HP pool.
It was beautifully done. And Fishman also gave him a lot of time to set it up, which is of course
That too. He did break the vision on the high ground momentarily, so I was like, oh, he's actually gonna live for this. Here comes the Maledict stun roll coming in.
Here comes Dendi.
Beautiful avalanche though, connecting on 3. 33 still might end up going down because he's got that Maledict ticking, and Fishman picks up the kill. However, in bottom, they go in last hero because he doesn't have any supports to help him out. The Hellbear does even a bit of damage, and they even throw the Mana Void. Skitter picks that one up, so it's a 1-for-1.
I think Dendi teleported in vision, which is a shame. If he doesn't do that, I don't think Scatter feels as confident to go for that kill bot. Dendi still has a haste, so he could make his way bottom if he wants to.
Yeah, he just picked it up, the 6-minute rune, so he uses it, and he's on his way. Last hero takes the bait here in this lane, but Skitter is already doing a lot of damage. Fishman has gone down in the top lane. There goes last hero, and here comes Dendi. What can he pull off here? He's on the anti-mage, doing a bit of damage, but 3 points in blink. He doesn't even have to use it. 5-1 for the mudgolems. It's not looking too shabby here for bait.
They're doing okay. At the very least, 5 up is going to get some extra levels in mid now. Then he takes over the bottom lane so that Lacero is most likely going to have to rotate into the jungle for now. He is pretty underleveled, actually. Fishman top. One more hit. Nope. Doesn't get it.
Crystal is still
133.
diving for this Visage kill. 60 HP. Milan is right behind him, but Crystallis makes his way out. Visage lives now in mid. Fada here back up Bora. Right. Seeing a
So
lot
if you
of
look at
moves.
the creep wave clear possibilities of bait, it's basically Dendi. So anywhere that the Nature's Prophet and the Enchantress show up, he has to come in to wipe away the entire armies. And this means that he has to be very careful with where he TPs, because as soon as he's stuck on the wrong side of the map, the towers, well, on the other side, are just dead. Mudgolems can take whatever they want, as long as Dendi's not there.
Pretty much. Last hero. Is he going to get enchanted by Fada? Yes, he does. Here comes Skitter with the anti-mage. And here comes NP with the ultimate. And yep, that's an oof. That ulti still hurts. A
I feel
nasty
like I'm
amount of
gonna say
damage.
that a lot.
Yeah, we might be. If this keeps on going, we might even see it even more. And actually, Nature's Prophet 4,200 gold right now. Looking pretty good. He's even got a way higher GPM than we have on Dendi right now. As he talked about that wave clear, that also means that Dendi is going to be picking up a lot of farm. So he does have that snowballing potential in this game. But it really does go quite a lot onto him. So we might see some crazy item pickups. Like if we get to late game, might even see a rapier pickup on this this void.
Who knows? I think, honestly, the bait should be very happy to be there, because this is 3k. This is a Visage who's going to have drums very soon. Once that item is up, I don't see how they can fight already.
5 up. He TP's
Time to
under
dive.
the tower. Almost gets rolled. And now there's a fight going on top at the same time. Visage trying to make a run for it. Dendi on the jump and the casket. It comes out. And the right click should be enough. Crystallis finds the kill. They are moving out. Meanwhile, 5 up is still buying time. Kiting Skitter. Goes for the blink out. The TPs finally show up. They might get the deny on this tower. Last hero goes down.
Yeah, last hero's problem is that he hasn't bought any stat items, and while I think his idea of buying a bottle in order to stay in the lane was okay, once he was this underleveled, he just, anytime the anti-mage goes on him, he dies in one go. There's no regenning up from that. And all you're doing, by the way, when you're bottling up is getting more mana, which means also more damage. It's very frustrating for him.
Tiny TPing towards bottom. Phantom Lancer in a bit of trouble here. Uses his doppelganger. Stun onto the anti-mage. Here comes Milan, and they find the right one. Crystallis gets hit by the mana void and should eventually go down. Tries to phantom rush away, but there goes the anti-mage. Just blinks right after him. Now Fishman. He should be alright, but he's going to deny the tower. Nope, that is their bottom tower down.
It is 2 towers down now for the side of Mudgolems with relatively little effort. And part of that is just having a Nature's Prophet on your team, being able to push creep waves without even being near. 5 up once and though, says hey Dendi.
They are coming in, but it feels like he knows already. And he misses the roll as well. Very limited vision, but they still had an idea what was going on. Last hero. 6 deaths on the Batrider already. Not looking good.
I think he should have retreated
Tower is being attacked.
into the jungle. There's just no way he stays in any lane.
Have fortified their
All 3 of them are death.
Feeling a little bit worried here with the future of bait here. Though, I mean, in the course of the tournament, that is. Not just this game. Because there's some talented young guys in that team. Like, if I'm thinking about, like, Last Hero, for example, and Fishman. I've really liked that duo for a very, very long time. Not talking about months. I'm actually talking, like, 2 years that I've liked watching these 2 guys play.
I mean, Crystallis is Dutch.
And
I know I'm a
Crystallis.
biased caster, but
Yeah.
I've coached this guy for what?
Oh, you gotta
2.5
get ready
years
for
now?
biased casting, because we're gonna have like T-Governor with 5 men later on today. So that's literally gonna be
I mean,
the stuff.
I was Crystallis's manager too until Dendi got him.
Yep.
Nice TP cancel on top. I think they're actually getting to 33 here, although Fishman, he's dying.
Fishman is already dying. Visage still fighting for his life, but those maledictics are going to be too much. Barania finds himself some kills.
Still think that's worth it for bait. That's just 2 supports for a Visage who is absolutely getting out of control. And oh man, did he actually? He's canceling the drums. He's going Midas. He says we have space.
Yep, and a kill on
Lasso
Dendi
up?
might be a
Oh, no, it's
certainty. We're gonna find last year on the high ground. Here comes the coconut. It's bouncing back and forth, but it's keeping them only away for just a bit longer. But last hero wants to get this kill on Fada, and a good read by him, not being afraid at all, and just go straight ham at it. Meanwhile,
Fishman actually juked out Skyder under the tower.
he did. I was looking at that. I heard the ulti go off, and I was like, all right, well, Witch Doctor's alive.
Well, the anti-mage still had his blink up after that, but Fishman actually stutter stepped him. It was kind of impressive. It's one of those really small plays that can make a really big difference. And, well, no mid tower anymore, but at least Bait get out with another kill. The problem is that once you lose your first 3 outer towers like this, for 0 trades on the opposite side, the gold difference starts snowballing fast, because you have no way to put all of your heroes on the lanes anymore without seriously risking dying, because you can't back them up.
Yeah, agreed on that.
Close enough.
5,000 gold difference now also for mudgolems, and XP is also really heavily in their favor. There's a smoke play coming up though. 5-up Dendi Fishman. Attempting to find someone in mid, but mudgolems are stacked up with 4 heroes. And even the Nature's Prophet actually hiding in the trees right now. Visage goes for a little disconnect. They are heading towards the bottom side jungle. They don't have any wards on them. Fishman has 2, so he might drop some more aggressive vision if they need to, since that's the one they've placed down is going to expire, so might as well just put down another.
Yep, this is exactly the right timing for them to refresh. The ward on top is going to time out as well. And they're going to have to give up that top jungle after that ward expires, so this is their attempt at getting at least some information bottom. And yeah, I would really like it if they could find some way to take the bottom tower, but the fact is that they can't fight Mudgolems 5v5 right now. So they need to have them confirmed committed somewhere on the other side of the map if they want to do tower damage at all.
There's the stairs ward placed by Fishman. Dendi and 5-up are rolling around. Towards mid. Visage is going to walk into their crosshairs, but will they go for it? Last year was also being threatened here by Fada and Milan. And here they go. Avalanche, NP ult, impetus spear. Okay, I don't even want to know how much damage that spear does when you toss him in the air. That's a certified kill.
Alright. At the very least, they've got some presence down on the bot lane. They've got a ward down behind the tower. Bait knows they need to break this tower somehow. And I think mudgolems are actually going to give it to them. I don't think they need to, but at the same time, at this point, you could also be trading for tier 2s as Fada is doing.
They found Boranija. Can we get him? Half HP. Maledict will do the job. Death Ward is out. That's a kill.
Nice.
Milan coming in as well. Anti-mage actually goes in the middle of all these 3 heroes. Death Ward is still punching. And there's Fada on the high ground with the spears. And Fishman can't do anything with this Witch Doctor. He gets the coconut out. The roll connection coming in from 5-up as well. Gets the ulti. Connecting on 2. Does a bit of damage here, but it's only going to do a limited amount. As he also runs out of life points. So that's 2 gone. 2 for 1, but it's again the supports for a core, and Dendi makes his way out, so I guess it's a slight relief.
Yep, as well as bottom tower down, and last hero getting some farm time in top plus a rune. This was a very good, look at the goal difference as well, you can see the immediate impact. This was a very good move by Bait, and that's totally worth it. They need to keep finding pickoffs like that, because it's the only thing that their lineup can do. They can't siege, they can't out-farm an anti-mage with the Battle Fury, and especially not when that Nature's Prophet's on the field as well. So they have to assassinate, and that's what they just did.
Yeah. PL has the potential of becoming a really big core in this game, but there's the anti-mage that he needs to worry about a little bit, so it does kind of also force Skitter to have that frontliner capability.
They got the fuse already.
Yeah, they have
Last
Diffusal
heroes...
versus the Battle Fury, yeah.
Last Hero's also got the Boots of Travel ready, so he is a lot faster now. No more of those awkward, oh snap, I can't actually run away moments. And his positioning from bait is really good. When they're very clearly prepared, and I've watched a lot of replays of these guys, when they're very clearly prepared for the fight that is to come, they look really good. When they get caught unawares, it's a disaster.
Fire decides to kick the bird away. Here goes the last zone. They've got the Visage inside it. Barnija coming in from the side. They've got the stuns coming on Milan as well. Really good looking here for bait. They've got the Tiny out of the way. They've got the Visage down. They still got all heroes up. Dendi also very low on HP. And there comes the anti-mage for a snipe. He just throws the ulti and walks out. Tower down, 2 for 1. Bait finding more and more relief. I wanted to talk about that diffusal blade, but might as well just recap what just happened there.
It's still very much worth it. More dark space is more space for you as well as the assassinating team, as opposed to this tower pressuring team that really thrives on having vision over you once the creep waves are pushed in. So making the moves that are necessary, and like Dendi is going to be a bit sad that he died here, but it's once again it's a good death. They're playing this very well right now.
What I wanted to talk about the Phantom Lancers, like he's got his diffusal blade, yes, but he's still very afraid to go in. Like he had 1100 HP, now he picked up a Ring of Aquila from the jungle, so that's gonna slightly buff up his HP pool. But he's gonna need way more tankiness until he's feeling comfortable. But you can't really be too comfortable with the game already as it is.
No, you can't. This anti-mage is going to have his Manta style way faster than you do. And on top of that, there's just the Nature's Prophet with the Orchid. If he gets you with the real Orchid before you have your Manta style up, it's going to be a disaster. And he's going to need at least one more item on top of the Manta to properly fight Chrysalis.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a Basher queued up after it.
I like the Basher pickup here. I would still like to see more stats, but Basher does give you a tiny bit of HP at least on top, because a heart is going to take a long time to build and they need to be active before that. Dendi taking a hit from the avalanche. The roll comes in, actually connects on a familiar.
They need to get back now. Dendi wants to have both steps up for a proper fight. And right now, Mudgolem seems content to just farm. And if you don't have any initiating items or initiating heroes, it is hard to find more pickoffs and pressure after the first 3 outers are down. But here they go. Milan in the lead. Fresh Blink Dagger at the ready. This is their initiation.
Yeah, this is big. This changes their team fight so much now that they have the Blink Dagger up. Crystallis. Greed is good. He wants to go for the camp farm. Oh boy, you're in a world of hurt. They go on the illusion instead, and Crystallis doesn't get the TP off. No, cancelled. But he gets the doppelganger to live a tiny bit longer. Might even find a kill on the Enchantress in the meantime, but that mana pool, once that runs out, it also means that PL's damage output runs out, and Crystallis is down.
Well fought though. Bit of indecision from the rest of his team in mid. I think they could have come to the rescue there. It took a long time for him to die. And they're gonna move in
Nothing
now,
to teleport to.
Nature's Prophet.
Oh. And you have half HP. Trying to make a run for it. Skitter is also making a walk for it. 3 seconds for Blink. Goes straight to the last hero's Batrider. Slices him down. 5 up. Kicks one hero out. Another one will take its place. It's going to be Skitter. Burning out the entire mana pool of this Earth Spirit. You need to time that Mango if you want to try and roll out, but just gonna have to give his life away. He knows that there's not much of an escape, and instantly into the Roche Pit after 4 heroes have been felled from Bait.
And Bait worked so hard to get that game back to a more or less even state, and just like that, it's over again. It's just the indecision here. They know they need to go towards bot. They do go, but it's too late, and then they get caught in a really awkward position in the enemy jungle. Get punished heavily. You can't do that against mudgolems. They're too sharp.
Oh, nice dodge here from Batrider. Does have a fresh Blink Dagger picked up, but it also means that he's unable to go into the Roche Pit to steal the Aegis, and he's going to get surrounded by enemies on every single side. Fada. 5, 1, and 10 on this Enchantress now. We're at a very dangerous moment where this game is really gonna, like, we're on the verge of a cliff, basically. Like, bait is they're already kind of, like, off balance slightly here, but they're still trying to grasp for a holding. Unless the ground breaks under their feet.
And the bigger problem here is that they're up against a genuine tricore with the Visage, especially with that Midas pickup, being able to scale very hard together with the anti-mage.
Yep, and
the
this smoke was very obvious in the sense they knew exactly what was happening. They are up with all 5 heroes. Enchantress is also making her way towards illusion spam. Crystallis, another. Wait, he's still smoked up actually. Trying to bait with those illusions. They're not falling for it. They're holding the high ground advantage. Dendi jumps straight onto the Enchantress, tries to kill Afada. Drop to half HP, gets a run out. There's the ultimate coming in from 5 up as well. Fishman trying to make a run for it. At the same time, Earth Spirit is surrounded by enemies as he rolls in, and he's just going to get taken down instantly. The coconut does bounce back and forth, but it only gets drawn away from the fight as the Tiny takes it with him. And now Crystallis. Fusel Blade out. There's the Mana Void. Oh, they got Baradia straight into the taunt when he teleported in. This Nature's Prophet's gonna go down with the BKB on. And that is 1 for 1 now. And the second casualty cause here for Bait. They lose the Witch Doctor. Anti-Mage still trying to chase it up. Milan goes for the toss. He throws this Earth Spirit back into the fray. Tries to roll out. Gets blocked once again. And Earth Spirit is down. Meanwhile, Fada is really holding this front line. Wants to keep on going for more kills here. The Batrider dropping low. The burn is ticking on the Enchantress. There's the nope, TP out. Nope, not gonna happen. Anti-Mage also in trouble, but the Aegis is still up. Though it comes with a heavy cost because there's still mudgolems having enough cores that they can get a few hits onto that tower, though they are forced to back away.
Once again, that indecision, they can't find a good angle. It sounds, I think it would sound like a lot of discussion who they are going to go on in their comms, because it doesn't feel clear at all. I do enjoy 5 up just saying, alright, fine, we're going, I don't care, you guys just follow me up, but the chaos is only helpful if you have enough burst damage to make it worth it.
Right, the chase on the Batrider is on. Silence is there. Blinks away. Ooh, very close blink from the AM. Can't find him. Would have had an ulti to break the TP.
Nice,
but yeah, I agree with you. Like, it did feel like there was something going on with the comms, but was it the right things happening on the comms there? Because one thing I did love about that fight, the Nature's Prophet teleported into Dendi's taunt, allowing Last Hero to instantly lasso the NP out. And they just nuked him before he could do anything in that fight. That was so big for Bait that they got the Nature's Prophet out of the way.
Yes, especially because that was a fresh BKB.
That too. 10-second charge, a kill from straight 100 to 0%. Crystallis being chased up. Still being surrounded in the trees. Anti-Mage mana pool slowly starting to drop. Gonna live with it.
Crystallis has crossed the biggest hurdle that you can have as a PL. Once you've got your Manta style up, you have 2 sources of survivability as opposed to just your doppelganger, and you can't be killed by just getting silenced anymore. Plus the extra tankiness, as you can see, Skyder can't actually take him down that easily, and he has to be wary of his mana. The matchup is on.
It is a 12,000 lead. That Aegis is going to run out in 40 seconds, so mudgolems want to keep up this pressure, at least find this last tier 2 tower to break, and they're defending as well because they find the Earth Spirit. They even TP'd all the way back to fight this last hero. TP out, Fishman TP out, and Dendi finds a wild anti-mage roaming about. It's like, alright, I can't get these bounty runes. That means it's a 3 for 1. That's a lot of money now. 270 gold per player.
Look at how they're just corralling Bait back. There is no space left whatsoever. Yeah, taunting TPs from the Nature's Prophet into the base.
They really wanted to use that Aegis during the fight, but now it expires. They're still gonna go for it. And there's the lasso, perfect timing. They need to get this kill on the anti-mage. Silence is up, damage is there, and Skitter's gone. 660 gold going straight into the hands of Dendi, and now they feel confident. They're gonna take for the Tiny. They're trying to take him down. Meanwhile, on the high ground, there's also Boronia with the Nature's Prophet still bleeding right clicks. BKB has been popped as well. Wipe up. He's taking a decent amount of damage here. Then the Earth Spirit is gonna go down, but they're gonna lose the NP. Meanwhile, the PL actually lifts himself at the same time with the Sprout, and now we got Visage going down too. 3 heroes gone, maybe even 4, as Milan is being chased down by Crystallis. Crystallis looking for another kill, and that's gonna go his way. And it's only gonna be Fada and the familiars remaining. And Bait, they actually turned this. They got the perfect timing here. Even if Fada deep CPs away, that's fine. They still got a lot of kills. They killed every single core from Mudgolems. Timing that Aegis, because they've been dodging them for so much. Mudgolems constantly wanted to pressure. They really wanted to fight with that Aegis. And then this happens.
Mudgolems did it to themselves a little bit, right? Skyder
They did.
didn't need to be right underneath the enemy high ground. That's still a Bat Rider. And that is the point where Bat Rider is at his very scariest, when he is defending his high ground. He's going to have a 4-staff next. This high ground is going to get that much harder to take. And Crystallis, of course, yeah, these 2 items allow you not just to fight, but to actually dish out damage. He is safe doing so, and Mudgolems have to take the next fight way more carefully. They have a lot of extra gold sitting around on their cores, but in the specific matchup versus this PL, they are now in a bit of a tighter spot. They can't get sloppy here.
They've got some good utility on their Visage, though. They have the Solar Crest. They've got Vlad's picked up, and here goes last hero looking for Milan. Dragged towards the low ground, and a DD Phantom Lancer there to greet you.
Hi.
That NP ulti doesn't do quite as much damage now. It's only hitting PL illusions.
Very annoying.
I guess that also counteracts the NP pretty well, because when you see that ulti go off, it does soak up quite many hits.
And for the Visage, the medallion is nice as an item to buff your teammates, but you're not ever going to use it offensively to take down Crystallis. Unless, 33 is an actual wizard. I know he's good. I'm not sure if he is click the one right PL in the whole nest of them. Good.
I have to say, I absolutely love the way you are now living with Visage.
Visage.
You sound very posh.
I don't know. I've always felt it was Visage, not Visage.
True. I guess Visage is that more of like a European or North American way of pronouncing it?
It's more the North American way, yeah.
I was thinking.
The Visage is clearly the faux French.
Yeah, c'est full French. It's Visage.
Visage. We can ask Seb. I think he has an opinion.
Yeah, definitely might have one. Would probably tell us to stop using this horrible French accent.
Excusez-moi.
Or an embarrassment to us.
Français.
Je parle non français.
Je ne parle pas. You're welcome, everybody.
29-14. And a 10,000 lead for Mudgolems, still looking pretty strong. They've got that butterfly closing up on the anti-mage. And look at this setup here. They're going straight for it, but he was ready for it this time. And Crystallis is almost dead. 5 up trying to make a run for it last hero. Also low on HP. They cluster around the anti-mage. They get the kill. Nature's Prophet, BKB popped up. Crystallis is out of play. 3 heroes gone from Bait. They were ready this time for Mudgolems. They saw what was about to happen. And just like that, it looked like he manta dodged for a moment, and then he got a lucky stun off. He almost finished off the Phantom Lancer by himself.
Yeah. Bait took the bait. I was thinking you can't do this. Skyder was too ready for that. You can see him sitting there, eyes glued to the screen, finger on the button. He's gonna jump me. I'm gonna press the spell shield. And yep.
Imagine if it was just Dendi zapping in with his R and then come out. That would have been like, all right, you used your Manta, now we find the right one and we lasso. Like, imagine like if you actually outplayed that moment. But it was last hero who needed to go in, and he's gonna go down here by the looks of it as well. So much stuff flying, and this bat can only take so much damage. There's spears, there's bolts, there's rocks. Even a bloody sword is being thrown at him.
I always wonder how he gets the sword when he picks up a tree.
True. And it's actually like more of a stone sword.
More,
I don't know,
I'm
like
sure.
maybe he doesn't have the touch of Midas, but the touch of something because he turns everything to stone. Does that mean Tiny equals Medusa? Pog?
Let's ask Slacks.
I mean,
I'm sure he's not tired of these questions yet at all.
most likely not. Aegis will be picked up by Skitter. We got the chase on Boranija. And Milan with the chase,
5 up.
and goodbye 5 up.
Like, the condition for bait to take a fight is, one, they need to be up close and personal. They need to get that chaos factor going so that all of these single target spells and right clicks don't have the right targets. Or at least, you know, that there's also chaos in the comes of mudgolems, because really the only area of effect they have is the tiny. And the other thing that would facilitate is Chrysalis will actually get a lot of illusions without his health being completely down. He needs to hit somebody a couple of times before he takes a lot of damage. Otherwise, all of his illusions are going to die so easily. Those are the conditions.
Those are the conditions.
The question is, where is he going to find those? Dendy is going to have to go in.
And this is the most important game for Bait as well, because they need to win this one.
Last hero might have got someone. Oh yes.
Tiny being dragged.
Mudgolems still want to fight it though.
Still a very tanky target. He's even gonna say defensive Yules. They have to back away. They're like, we can't kill this guy. Let's run for it. Run for the hills. And we even lose a hero in the process. Milan gets to live. Skitter going on the high ground. Chasing Phantom Lancer away. Dendy taking damage from Impetus Spears. Fishman turns around. Maledict, Death Ward. And here comes the AM. You've already lost Fishman. Buyback coming in. Another buyback coming in as well. 2 heroes now that can't come back into the fight if they die once. The kick. Barania pops his BKB, and 5 up just melts. He just died back into that one. Not much that he can do. Tier 3 tower also falling down. And a difficult situation here for Bait. 4 versus 5. Anti-Mage in the front with a Solar Crest buff with Aegis. First hit bash on the PL! Oh no!
Oh no!
If it couldn't get any worse. You get first hit bashed by the Anti-Mage with a right click, and that's about it. Witch Doctor will follow suit. Tries to run out. Another desperate fight here. Dendy, Crystal is trying to make their best out of it. They've got Bombi out of the way. But Borania still coming in. Skitter as well. They've got the Sprouse holding the Witch Doctor. There's another trade-up bash coming in onto Skitter. Anti-Mage might just lose his Aegis, and he will. And they're looking for the opening. Tiny, ready for the Blink Stun. Does he catch Fishman with it? He Yules, and he gets Yules as well by Dendy. Really important play there to buy a bit of time, but they can't. They can't make anything happen with it. The Coconut will bounce back. Last hero will catch it. And they can't find a response kill from this, but that was so big that Dendy just Yules the Tiny. Because when he was about to respawn. Oh, Blast Up Blink still though.
This
Brought
time
back
there's
to the
no
high ground.
follow-up.
And Fishman is dead meanwhile. Chased by the birds. Tiny, Yules up in the air. Defensive Yules into the air. Blink Dagger has been cancelled though, and Milan is out. It's still a 24,000 lead for Mudgolems.
And this time, Bait spends all of their buybacks as well. You can see there that if they don't get a full 5-man engagement, if they don't have 5 up there with them from the start, it is so hard. Oh, and I find 5 up again.
Oh. Oh. That hurts. That really hurts. He's died a lot this game. Because he just doesn't have any kind of tankiness on this Earth Spirit. They just rip straight through his armor.
And more importantly, they don't have any tankiness on this entire lineup. Anyone who is in the front is going to fall. You just... If you get caught, you just need to fight. That's it.
Oh, he doesn't get the bounty on the way. And AM is still chasing last hero. He should catch him with the next one. Bash? No.
No?
No.
It's fast?
See?
No?
No. There we go. Finally connects.
Well,
meanwhile, then they
then
find
you
the
get
kill on the Enchantress, but that's a slight relief.
Yeah, the Enchantress is about the only target they can burst by now. It's gotta be very disappointing for them that especially Milan is so tanky now, because he was a good target to go for before, and instead in that fight in their triangle they got punished so heavily for going on him. So that man just lived. Ghost Scepter saved lives.
2 buybacks up. That's Dendy and last hero.
Mhm.
The only ones that they have remaining. PL situation. Satanic.
Yeah,
Needs
so
to
the
get that.
Satanic is going to allow him to actually do these longer fights because there is no source of regen on him right now, no Vlad's on the team. If he gets bursted, all of his illusions are going to keep that low HP as we talked about before.
Yeah.
But if he actually gets the regen within the fight, these illusions are going to live a lot longer, just because, well, he's going to heal up, tankier illusions come out, etc. And these long fights are the only way that they're going to get out of it because they simply do not have enough damage. Then he's falling off. Last hero's been utility all the way.
Yeah.
Hasn't had much of a choice.
Are just stacking up together. Are we looking for the next Roshan or something? Mudgolems have slowed down the pace a little bit.
Yeah, considerably even. I think it is the wait for the Roshan. And I also feel like Mudgolems could definitely be playing up more. It's just that they probably don't want to risk getting picked off and
Yeah.
giving an Aegis to Crystallis.
There's an E-Blade as well up for grabs for Tiny, who just bought it, and there's an Illusionist Cape. Takes it though. Minotaur Horn being picked up. Smoke up. And they're right next to Borania.
He's so tanky though. I don't think they can take him. They need to grab
They don't
fodder.
want to focus the NP. He's not the target to go
Fodder.
for. They get Bambi though. And they all reveal themselves. Now Milan has a chance to get a perfect stun out, but he doesn't go for it. Right clicks, however, coming out as well from the Nature's Prophet. Borania trying to do a decent amount of damage with that, and they get the stun on the Visage. Visage still tanking several hits. Witch Doctor's already out. Crystal is in big trouble. Surrounded and killed away. 5 up is also going to die back in this. Bait just don't have the damage. They have no way to respond once they've gone in first. That's basically what they have. They go in once. You can't do the same trick twice. Mudgolems can now
even at
finish
his
this
full
off.
Satanic there, he could not heal into this sheer amount of damage that got thrown his
Yeah, I
way.
agree. They can't do anything here anymore. Like this game is over now. That also means that Bait is gonna drop out as the only team out from the playoffs. Mudgolems will secure first place.
It feels a bit bad for Bait that, you know, they get the very hardest team of the group at the very last. You know, no chances to sneak your way out of it on a last burst of effort. But at the same time, Empire did just perform better overall. And now we're going to get to
Empire.
see... Yeah, because they get to stay in the group.
Oh yeah, obviously. True. Big brains. Me small brain.
I mean, I think most of like the quality difference with Mudgolems explains itself through this game alone.
Hmm.
And a bit of it is in the draft. I think that Bait are answering the lineup from Mudgolems more than they are creating their own win conditions. You can see that Mudgolems end up with a very strong sort of center of this team where they can push really hard with the Nature's Prophet, with the Visage, with Farah, without really having to commit to a fight. And Bait has to commit. And that puts the information advantage in the hand of Mudgolems because they can always decide to retreat or not. And Bait is just like, okay, we gotta go, I guess. And in that game, that gave them, well, about a 50-50 if they would have executed everything perfectly. And then, you know, of course the execution is not perfect and you end up getting slowly choked out of the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of difficulties in this game that Bait had to face. I mean, I did like the idea that they were looking for those aggressive pickoffs in the early / mid game, but I felt like that was the only time that they were able to do that. After that, it feels like, well, we're just gonna have to turtle. If we want to try and find pickoffs, who do we kill? Like, everybody's starting to get tanky. If we find someone, they are gonna be all around, and we don't feel comfortable with a 5-on-5. So yeah, that has to be a drafting fault if your gameplay strategy is really built up on your first minutes, basically, that you can do things. I mean, it could have worked, but it didn't really carry them too far in this one.
No, not yet. But the signs of life that they give, and that is one of the things that I think is why a lot of people are still rooting for this team, is like when they come together, they have some really nice execution. And who knows, maybe with the pressure off in the second game and with mudgolems feeling a little bit more like experimenting as well, we're going to get to see a fun matchup. I certainly hope so.
Well, let's hope that we do get a fun draft. We're going to take a tiny break, and we'll be back with Game 2 in about 7 to 8 minutes or so. So we'll be back soon.